Okay, so let's start with our lesson 2 topic, wherein our um, topic will focus on sex and senses. So the last time we have discussion, we already discussed the psychosocial perspective in gender gender and sexuality based on the different uh, form of intimacy and relationship. So, gender and sexuality as a psychosocial issue. For this time, we are now focusing on sex and senses. Okay. So, before we discuss deeper, this is our lesson objectives. So, first, discuss the human senses in the context of sexual response and show appreciation of how the sensation contributes to our experience of human sexuality. Okay, so this will be our the lesson of this is these are our lesson objectives for this discussion. Okay, so yeah. So, when we were children, okay, so ano ba yung unang itinuro sa atin noon, 'di ba, nung tayo mga bata pa or kapag kayo ay mayroong mga kapatid na toddlers, okay, ano yung unang tinuturo? Asan yung eyes? Asan yung nose? Asan yung ears? Show me your tongue, and so on and so forth. So, when we were children, we were taught that there are five bodily organs which corresponds to our primary senses that we use to explore and experience the world around us. So, pag sinabi nating eyes, our eyes enables our sense of sight or yung tinatawag nating visual so that we are able to see visual stimuli. So, ano yung mga visual stimuli? We have the colors, the size, and the shape. 'Di ba noong pag mga bata, pag yung mga baby toddler, mga around 7 months to 8 months or 11 months hanggang 1 year old or basta early uh, hanggang 3 years old, 'di ba, ano yung urang itinuturo natin sa kanila? Our senses, our different senses. Yung eyes, yung nose, yung ears, yung tongue, yung skin. And then afterwards, ituturo natin sa kanila, o anong kulay ito? Okay? O anong shape ito? Anong size ito? 'Di ba? So, yun, our sense of sight or yung visual natin, it is our part of our senses wherein we are able to see or visualize stimuli. So, yung mga itinuturo sa atin nung bata tayo, like colors, shapes, and so on and so forth, yun yung tinatawag natin visual stimuli. Okay. Our nose also enables the sense of smell. Okay, so, um, or in short, in other term, olfaction or olfactory na tinatawag so that we are able to experience scent. Okay, 'di ba? Pag umutot yung katabi natin, nagfa-function yung nose natin. We are able to experience the scent of or the scent of the utot ng katabi natin, or we are able to experience to smell or the scent of to experience the scent of roses, the florals, the fruity scent, 'di ba? Yung mga matatamis, sweet scent, and so on and so forth, including our body odor. Okay. So, our ears also allows us the sense of hearing or yung tinatawag nating audition. So, audition or yung pag sinabi nating audition, ang focus doon, ang natitrigger doon is yung ating auditory nerves so that we are able to experience sounds of varying tones, pitches, and volume then. Okay, so, and also our tongue, okay, is covered with the taste buds that allows us sense of taste or yung tinatawag nating gustation so that we are able to experience the taste of ano ba yung natitaste natin or natitikman natin na madalas sa ating mga kinakain. The saltiness, the sweetness, the bitterness, okay, and the sourness. okay, of our food and other objects we put in our mouth. Kasi syempre kung ano yung isinusubo mo, yun yung matitikman mo. Okay? So, yun. Kapag isinubo mo ay ice cream, syempre matitikman natin yung sweetness at saka yung flavor na meron dun sa ice cream. If ang isinubo natin is strawberry, syempre matitikman natin yung sweetness, combination of sweetness and sourness coming from the strawberry fruit, and so on and so forth. And then we also have the sense of touch. Okay, so pag sinabi nating sense of touch, we have the sensory reception. Okay, so yung skin natin, at saka yung muscles, yung joints natin, which allows us the sense of touch or feeling so that we are able to have tactile experience. For example, kapag masyadong malamig, so we feel or we experience the absence of heat, okay, or the presence of coldness. Okay, so and other various texture, various physical pressure, we can due to the our skin, our muscles and joints, we are allowed to experience the sense of feeling or the sense of touch. Okay. So these five senses comprise our tinatawag nating sensorium. So, yung sensorium, this is the totality of our sensory experiences and perception. While we receive information from our environment through the senses, our brain has the ability to organize and interpret these numerous stimuli into meaningful ideas that are useful for our choices, specifically to our behavior. So, kung matitignan ninyo, we have here the human affect and the senses. Okay, so we have here the picture of the human limbic system. Okay, so yan. Wait lang. Okay. So we have here the interestingly, okay, humans are hailed as rational beings. So among animals of all, 'di ba sabi nga nila, humans are the wisest animals among all the animals. Okay, bakit? Kasi we are rational beings wherein we can make constant choices and we can behave through our rational choices, set of rational choices. Okay. And also, we can also made higher order thinking. So, pag sinabi nating higher order thinking, we are able sa mga students dyan, they all know the meaning of higher order thinking. Diba? Kapag sinabi nating higher order thinking skills, we can create, we can evaluate, we can analyze, and we can judge. So, since we have the human limbic system, okay, um, it is hypothesized that our affect or yung ano na ulit yung uh, affect means our emotions, our feelings will actually play a major role in our behavior. So, ano ba yung sinasabi ng affective primary hypothesis by Zajong 1980? So, according to Zajong 1980, the affective primary hypothesis postulates that cognitive processing plays a lesser role in eliciting behavior in many cases than our emotional responses. So, ibig sabihin, by the virtue of this hypothesis, okay, by default, our emotions take precedent primarily because these are only processed and modulated by our limbic system. So, ito, yung ating affective domain, okay, siya yung nagpa-process or it is being modulated and processed by this limbic system. So, it is being processed through the hypothalamic nuclei, the amygdala, okay, it is being our affective or our feelings and emotion is being processed by the thalamus, the and other part of the brain that is merong role when it comes to the human limbic system. Okay. So pag sinabi naman nating human limbic system, it is the emotional part of our brain which is more primitive compared to the one responsible for higher order thinking. So limbic system ang merong responsibility when it comes to our emotional part. Yan. So these are the primary emotional responses. Okay, so according to the human limbic system, there are uh, yeah, there are different part of our uh, mechanisms for evolution, and human like us have three primarily emotional responses. So ano-ano yung three primary emotional responses natin? We have here, anong ginagawa ng nasa picture, we have the fight, the flight, and freeze. Okay. Ano naman itong mga ito? So, pag sinabi nating fight, okay, this is a response when we face um adverse or dangerous stimuli squarely. Okay, for example, kapag um habang tayo ay naglalakad sa kalsada, meron tayong nakitang snake or meron tayong makakasalubong na cobra, which is we know that king cobra is the most venomous species of a snake na meron tayo dito sa Pilipinas. So, ano ang gagawin mo? Okay? 'Di ba? Some says we are going to fight. First response natin is to fight. Okay? So, yun yung ating magiging ah, response. Okay? So, paano natin if-fight? This would mean we need to grab the nearest solid object in the environment and throwing it to the snake to para bugawin natin yung snake papalayo. Okay. So, once na meron tayong ibinato na object or pinalot natin yung snake para lumayo, um, 'pag nakita natin na lalaban din yung cobra, tutuklawin ka na niya, tumaas na yung ulo niya, tumayo na siya. Anong gagawin natin? We need to flight. So, itong flight na ito, it is a response when we move away from the adverse or dangerous stimuli. Okay, so nung nakita natin na nung kumuha tayo nag-ready tayo, nag-prepare tayo at kumuha tayo ng isang solid na bagay na malapit sa atin para kapag aatakihin tayo ng snake, meron tayong panlaban. So, yun yung first natin, yung first primary emotional response natin, which is to fight. Okay, pero nung nakita natin na tatayo yung cobra at ready na siyang manuklaw or ready na siyang tuklawin tayo, we are going to flight. Ito yung response natin when we move away from the dangerous stimuli, which is the snake. Okay, so um, this means we are going to run away from the place and we need to find a new route where the snake cannot find us. Okay, so yun. Siyempre, hindi ka na dadaan doon, ano? We need to find a new route para makarating tayo doon sa pupuntahan natin. Okay, hindi naman, darasudos ka nga, kasi dyan, magnakalata, nakita mo nga, tutuklawin ka na ng ahas. Hindi ka naman siguro bulag para hindi mo makita yung danger na dala nung snake na makakasalubong mo. Or, okay, ang pangatlo na emotional response, primary emotional response na meron ang isang tao, or ang lahat ng tao is yung tinatawag nating freeze. So, ang freeze is a response on the other hand when you are startled and are unable to make choice. So, ito kapag sobrang gulat mo. Okay, so sa lahat naman tayo kapag tayo ay nabibigla, 'di ba? Hindi makapag-function ng maayos yung isip natin. Matutulala muna tayo, 'di ba? We are going to freeze. We are I know, have you experienced that kind of emotion na kung saan you are not feeling mo you are unable to move, and sometimes matutulala ka na lang, mapapamulanglang ka na lang ano. And the freeze response can also be used to buy time so you can calculate the advantages and disadvantages of your choices. Sometimes kasi at kaya tayo na-freeze kasi gumagana ang utak natin, how can we get away from here? Ganon, 'di ba? Or ano yung una nating gagawin? What is our first move? Ganon. Okay, shall you fight the snake or fly away from the scene? Okay, so freeze. So freeze, it takes us time or it give us time to think if and calculate the advantages and disadvantages of our choices. So are we going to fight back or are we going to fly away from the scene? So these are the three primary emotional response according to the uh, Affective Primary Hypothesis by Zajong 1980. Okay, so yeah, the next topic that we have is the senses and sexuality. Okay, senses and sexuality. So, having provided the overview on how human affect and the sensorium and the brain's limbic system coordinate, we are now ready to discuss how the various senses play in the human sexual response. So, yun na nga, we already um, we discusses the different senses that we have and also how human affect and all the sensoriums coordinate with each other for us to give human sexual response. Okay, so we all know that intimacy with a partner engage us multiple and conflicting sensory systems such as yung tactile, yung vision, yung auditory, olfactory, and so on and so forth. And our vestibular or our head, the head position in head or yung ating interoception, which is our awareness. So, pagkaroon, when we are engaged into intimacy, okay, 'di ba? Hindi lang naman yung ating senses ang gumagana, but also our vestibules, our interoception, or awareness of our um, internal body. Okay, yeah. So, senses. How senses link to sexuality? So, pag sinabi nating senses, okay, it is if a faculty by which perceives external stimulus. So, pag sinabi nating external stimulus, yung nakikita natin outside our body, external. Okay, so outside, external, outside. So, ito yung nagpi-perceive or ito yung receptor wherein it receive or it perceives external stimulus. Okay? While sexuality, it is about your sexual feelings, your thoughts, your attractions, and behaviors towards other people. Okay? So, uh, you can also find other people emotional attractive, and all those things are part of your sexuality. Okay? The first experience or senses and sexuality experience na pwede nating na gumagana sa isang tao ay yung tinatawag nating visual experience. So, pag sinabi natin visual experience, humans are predominantly visual unless ikaw ay bulag, 'di ba? So, our societies highly rely on visual culture to create the meaning and convey information. For example, our language has a visual components also. Hindi lang siya more on verbal, but our language has also visual um, conception or visual component as observed in the form of our writing. Okay, so hindi lang naman puro hearing, sense of hearing ang gumagana sa ating language, 'di ba? But also we can see it or we can observe it through visual, through through the use of our visual experience by in the form of our writing system. Okay, so another is walking down the streets. Okay, so kapag tayo ay naglalakad, you will see a lot of signs which directs you what to do or not to do, 'di ba? 'Di ba sa highway, meron tayong stoplight. So, pag nakakita tayo ng stoplight, it is a symbol na kung saan you need to stop, look, and listen. You need to wait for the light na for you to go. So, if you see na ang ilaw na gumagana sa stoplight is red, it is a sign that you need to stop, hindi ba? At kapag nag-green, it is a sign that you need to go. And kapag nag-yellow, it is a sign that you need to be ready because it's either mag-red or mag-green yung light after the yellow light. Diba? So, that's all. Hindi lang naman siya more on of language or more on sense of hearing, but our language can also be seen visually. Okay. At pagdating natin, pag bumibili tayo ng sa ibang mga signage, sa mga ibang establishment, for example, business establishment, for example, sa grocery, sa hospitals, 'di ba? Kahit hindi natin basahin, alam natin kasi we see signs or we see symbols na kung saan we can help us, okay, to read between the signs and the symbols. Okay? So, hindi lang sa mga grocery stores, hindi lang sa mga business establishment. We can also signs and symbols which indicates language, okay, sa school, okay, sa church. No blowing of horns, merong nakapaskil doon sa harap ng church na napakalaki na naka-ekis na horn, 'di ba? Or na trumpets. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? No blowing of horns, including sa mga schools, sa mga nearby schools at saka nearby hospitals, 'di ba? Okay, so these signs and symbols can also be in a form sign and symbol is an example of language in the form of visuals. Okay. Ano ba itong tinatawag nating visual experience? Okay, so pag sa visual experience, meron tayong tinatawag na visual stimuli. So pag sinabi natin visual stimuli are among the most important in the classification of sexual interest, desire, and arousal, and have been the most frequently used in physio, physiological studies. Okay, so yun nga, visual stimuli. Kapag sinabi nating visual stimuli, okay, um, yun nga, it is influenced by visual cues. Okay, so visual cues. Ano yung mga visual cues natin? For example, how other person looks physically or what the other person is wearing. And that is visual stimuli. Pag sinabi naman natin visual sensory, okay, this means naman that we are responding into visual stimuli in a form of sensory. Okay, for example is um yung we are we are influenced by picture, by image and diagrams and movies. So we experience visual attraction through our sensory through by merely looking at the picture, at the images, or watching the diagrams or watching movies. Yeah. Yeah. So sabi nila, okay, um some women were found to be more influenced by context, although they are they too are responsive to sexual content of visual stimuli. This means that um, uh, when they are confronted by an intimate interaction, women tend to be rather influenced by the nature of relationship they have with another person. Okay, for example, if the other person someone they know or someone they can trust. 'Di ba? There are some women or 'di ba, pagdating sa relationship specifically kapag intimate relationship, merong mga lalaki na basta-basta na lang nakikipag-sex sa ibang babae. If they feel they are attracted to other women, um, haharutin nila tapos to the point na magkakaroon sila ng sexual intercourse at the latter part, 'di ba? And then pagkatapos nun, nagiging side chick na nila yung the other women. Well, sabi sa isang, yun nga, sa isang study, women cannot, uh, women cannot easily influenced by their environment. Kasi kapag hindi nila na-feel or hindi namin na-feel na na yung person, the other person is hindi trustable. Okay? Hindi totoo, or we don't have any emotional feeling, deep emotional feeling doon sa tao, we cannot able give ourselves through sexual intercourse, 'di ba? Pero sa lalaki, 'pag nakita nila naka-panty, naka-bra, okay, on the go na sila agad-agad. Pero tayo, okay, uh, yeah, pero hindi ko naman nila lahat, some women can also do what men can do. Okay, so that is according to visual experience. Next is itong tinatawag nating olfactory experience. Pag sinabi nating olfaction, it is in non-human animals which are believed to be microsmatic organism or organisms having a greater sense of smell. Human and apes are generally believed to be microsmatic or lower levels of olfaction compared to their non-ape counterparts. Although we humans have limited olfaction, sense of smell may play an important part in our sexual response. Okay, so pag sinabi nating microsmatic organism, sila yung klase ng organism na meron silang greater sense of smell. So, malakas yung kanilang pang-amoy. And, according to psychologists, okay, humans and apes are generally believed to be microsmatic. Okay, so compared doon sa non-ape counterparts natin. However, recent studies in the field of human sexuality shows that while we humans have limited olfaction, sense of smell may play an important uh, part in our sexual response. Siyempre, 'di ba, merong ibang tao na dysfunctional yung kanilang sense of smell just like me. Okay? Unless sobrang strong talaga nung amoy mo. Pero ako, ever since nagkaroon ako ng allergy rhinitis, nagkaroon din ng kabawasan dito sa aking sense of smell, wherein naging mahina yung aking pang-amoy unless katabi kita at tutok ka sa ilong ko. Eh, gano'n na lang ka-limited yung aking sense of smell. Okay, so ayan, ingatan ninyo yung mga ilong ninyo kasi it is importante din kasi yung ating sense of smell. Kapag naging limited yung sense of smell mo, nababawasan din yung sense of taste mo. Kaya ako, hindi ko na alam yung tamang eksakto ah, ng, ng, ng matamis, sobrang tamis, at sobrang-sobrang tamis, or maalat, mas sobrang maalat at sobrang-sobrang maalat. Kaya ayan, alagaan niyo yung sense of nose ninyo, sense of nose, yung sense of smell ninyo kasi 'pag pumalya yung sense of smell ninyo, apektado din ang sense of taste ninyo. And according to the study of Mascarella, Arantes, and Conscol 2011, kasi they explored the preferred scent among heterosexual and homosexual males and females. Okay, so they study the preferred scent of heterosexual and homosexual males and females, and they found that heterosexual females tend to like wearing floral sweet but musky spices scent to be worn by their partners. So, yung mga heterosexual females daw, sa kanilang sarili, gusto nila, yung amoy nila ay dapat floral and sweet. So, siguro yung mga may perfume ng vanilla, yung mga sweet smell. Okay, kasi, according to the study, nagkakaroon daw, mas attracted daw mga males, okay, sa mga floral sweet scent. Pagdating naman sa mga sa partners ng mga babae, okay, dapat ang preferred daw ng heterosexual males, I mean females sa kanilang sa kanilang lalaking partner is musky and spicy scent. So kaya nga meron tayong mga pabango para sa mga males na ano 'yun, Axe mask, body mask gano'n o kaya Jovan White mask. Kaya yung mga body mask na 'yun. So musky and spicy scent naman yung preferred ng mga heterosexual um uh, females. Okay? So, yan. So, scientists also tried to explain how human olfaction influence sexuality. Okay, so they identified possibilities. So, meron tayong series of possibilities. At the first possibility is through this what we refer to signature odor. Ito yung pag sinabi nating signature odor, it is the unique way that each individual smells. Okay, so that is. So tayo, meron tayong individual unique odor. Okay, para na lang kapag ikaw ay unhygienic, di ba? So, iisa lang yung amoy na pwede naming maamoy sa'yo at alam naming lahat yon. Pero kapag ikaw ay hygienic, we all have an individual and unique smell. Okay, so, and it is associated with major histocompatibility complex na tinatawag or yung MHC na kung saan there is a set of proteins signaling our immune system the presence of foreign substances. And second, pangalawa is through to our pheromones na tinatawag. So, our pheromones is substances putatively excreted by our glands which signals mood and affects social behaviors. Okay, so one of the most famous studies about MHC or yung tinatawag nating major histocompatibility complex is yung sweaty shirt or sweaty t-shirt experiment na tinatawag. Okay, so ano itong sweetie t-shirt experiment na kinonduct ni Wedekind and Fury 1997 at 1995. So, these experiments, they found that individuals tend to be attracted to other people with different set of major histocompatibility complex genes. Okay, so uh, humans' interest in pheromones, on the other hand, has been present since the early 1930s. Okay, so yeah. Next is once the famous sweaty t-shirt experiment. So, ayan. So, in 1970s, McClintock, okay, is conducted a study on the effect of menstrual synchronicity. Okay, so menstrual synchrony na kung saan this is the observation that females in the dormitory usually would have their menstruation at nearly the same time was thought to be due to pheromones. So, sino dito yung mga nagbo-boarding house tapos yung mga kasama nila sa bahay are all females also, 'di ba? Kapag nagregla yung isa, 'di ba? Magreregla din sila lahat-lahat. I also experienced that one during my college days kasi nag-dorm ako sa isang lady dormitory at kapag napapansin ko na kapag niregla yung isa sa amin, susunod-sunod na rin yung isa. Magkakasabay kaming lahat. Or kaya kapag ako rereglahin din yung mga kasama ko. And may kinalaman pala doon yung ating pheromones. Okay, so nagkakaroon ng signaling doon sa pheromones namin. Okay, so what do scientists think human pheromones do? So, act as attractants. So, pheromones act as attractants of the opposite sex or repellents of the same sex. So, parang ano no, parang lamok lamang at saka tao. Attractant at saka repellent. Kasi 'di ba siyempre merong mga amoy na naa-attract sa atin ang mga lamok for us to para kagatin nila tayo, okay. And then also, we can also use repellents for them to shoo away, 'di ba? So, uh, the stabilizer of the pheromones is yung mother-infant bond and modulator of menstrual cycle. Ayan, so yan yung trabaho ni pheromone sa buhay ng isang tao. Okay, ayan, naulit. Okay. There are also some chemicals thought to be human hormones. Okay, so we have here the uh, androstenedione or AND. So itong androstenedione is a testosterone-like substance found in male sweat, saliva, and urine. So itong androstenedione is exclusively lang na makikita sa laway, laway, sa pawis at saka sa ihi ng isang lalaki. Okay. And we also have the estratetrienol or yung tinatawag nating EST. So, yung EST or the estratetrienol is an estrogen-like substance that found in female urine. So, it can only be found specifically in male-female urine. And the last one is yung ipyrolin na tinatawag, wherein it is also a substance found in human semen, pubic sweat, and smegma. So, it can be found both in male and female, specifically on the semen, in the pubic sweat, and smegma. Okay. However, there are those who dispute the presence of human pheromones because modern studies could not replicate what has been delivered or what has been believed to be the effect of putative pheromones on social behavior, and that is according to Wessel 2017. Yan, so hindi lahat is parang pheromones is truly exist as they believe to be. Kaya hindi lahat naniniwala na nag-exist ang pheromones doon sa pinaniniwalaan nilang paniniwala. Okay. Next na experience na we have is yung tinatawag nating tactile experience. So, pag sinabi nating tactile experience, touch is observed to be an element of intimacy. Okay, so, ayan, touch is observed to be an element of intimacy. So, pag sinabi nating tactile experience, our body is covered in skin, often referred to as the largest bodily organ. Okay, and our skin totally accounts for 16 to 20% of our body weight. Okay, so, 'di ba, sa timbang natin merong ambag ang ating skin, which is 16 to 20% of our body is totally accountable ang ating skin. Kung yung bigat natin ang ating pag-uusapan. Okay, so, and also, it is a sensitive organ as a very square inch of it houses more than 1,000 nerve endings. Okay, so it is a sense of touch, sensation, and touch has some element. So, pag sinabi na, these are the different elements of our sensation or our sense of touch. First is yung tactile element na tinatawag. So, pag sinabi nating tactile element, it pertains to the experience relative to the object being felt. Okay? So, yung nararamdaman natin. So, kapag kiniskis natin yung kamay natin through the use of our skin sa sahig at naramdaman nating smooth yung wall, then, yun yung nararamdaman natin. Tunay nating nararamdaman it. Okay? It covers if the object is rough, is it smooth, or is the surface hard or soft? Yan. That is our tactile experience. Okay? And next na touch element natin is yung tinatawag nating thermal element. Okay, ano naman itong thermal element? Ito naman mayroong kinalaman sa temperature. Okay? So, kung kanina doon sa smoothness, sa roughness, okay, or sa hardness or sa softness, yung tactile, dito naman sa thermal is yung may kinalaman sa temperature. Is it warm or is it cold? Ayan. And the last element that we have when it comes to our elements is yung tinatawag nating vibrational element. So, ito yung pressure of the touch. Okay, so pressure of the touch. Okay, if it is strong or weak. Okay, or if the sensation is moving and pulsating or steady and stationary. Vibration, to the use of vibration, the pressure. Okay, so the use of pressure. Next, uh, in the different parts of human body, we also have different threshold of tactile experience. And there are areas na tinatawag natin. So, ito yung erogenous zones natin. If you can still remember the different erogenous zones. So, meron tayong tinatawag na primary erogenous zone at saka secondary erogenous zone. So, let's talk about first the primary erogenous zone. So, pag sinabi nating primary erogenous zone, this is the mouth, the anus, the genitals, and the nipples. So, tandaan ninyo, this is, or these are the primary erogenous zones. So, pag sinabi nating primary erogenous zones, they are very sensitive to touch. So, kapag hinawakan, ayan, nagkakaroon tayo ng kakaibang feelings. Kasi these are part of our primary erogenous zone. Okay? Very sensitive siya. Okay? Pag sinabi naman nating secondary erogenous zone, these are our back, our cheek, our neck, the buttocks, and so on and so forth. So the secondary erogenous zone is also sensitive. Okay, these are also sensitive to touch, but only supportive doon sa primary zones natin. Okay, so, yan, taga-suporta noong primary erogenous zones natin. So, our back, okay, yung mouth natin, which is our primary erogenous zone, ang nagsusupport as a secondary erogenous zone sa mouth natin is yung ating cheek. Okay? Eh, pagdating naman sa ating back, okay, or pagdating naman sa nipples natin, na ang supporting erogenous zone natin is it's either the neck or the back, and so on and so forth. Ayan. So, these erogenous zones are areas of the body involved in reproductive and sexual act. Okay? Ayan. So, alam mo naman na humans. So, when we touch, okay, human touch actually is essential in social bonds, 'di ba? So, in holding, caressing, 'di ba? 'Yun. Um, we give people we only give people we trust the right to have a tactile contact of us. So, 'di ba? And it is also consensual act to touch and be touched. So, when we touch, our body produces hormone called oxytocin. So, tandaan niyo kapag meron tayong kahawak, holding hands, o kaya kahug, okay, nagpo-produce yung katawan natin ng oxytocin hormone na kung tawagin ay oxytocin. So, itong oxytocin na to, it is referred to the love hormone. Okay, yan. So, the more we hug, the more oxytocin we produce. And, and next na we have is our auditory experience. So, pag sinabi nating auditory experience, social interactions are not only visual, but are also auditory processes. So, our human language often have a verbal counterpart to the written language. In fact, historically, much of our culture are passed on through oral traditions even before the writing system was developed. Okay? So, olfactory, okay, is sound, okay? Pag sinabi nating auditory, I mean, it is the sound give additional context to sexual situations. So, for example, in sexual interactions, couples may give verbal erotic encourage words that trigger sexual response or verbal expression of affection. Words that manifest feelings. For example, I love you, I miss you. Diba? Kung nanonood tayo ng mga movie, bago sila mag-tsuktsak, maghalikan, I mean, mag-kiss, 'di ba? Anong sinasabi na pag matagal silang hindi nagkita, "I miss you, nami-miss kita, mahal kita." And then magki-kiss na sila. So, the sound, okay? May kinalaman ang sound to give additional context doon sa sexual situation. Okay, and a survey of a popular music will show that the love and sex are among the common themes of songs nowadays. And this only emphasizes the value of sound in human sexuality. Ayan, so that is the different senses, senses and sexuality. Okay? The next topic na meron tayo is human sexual behavior. Okay, so in our early discussion, kanina we mentioned that psychology has three primary components. So, the affect, the cognition, and the behavior. So, dito kanina, nauna nating na-tackle doon sa first discussion natin, the effect or the most of the emotions and feelings. Dito naman, and then kanina lang, is na-topic natin yung cognition or yung thought process natin through the human limbic system. And ngayon, through the behavior. Ayan, human sexual behavior. Or pag sinabi nating behavior, it is more on action. Okay. So, sexual behavior actually used as a framework in understanding human sexuality, and it is only appropriate to explore the diversity of behaviors relevant to our understanding of human sexuality. Ano ba yung tinatawag nating behavior? Pag sinabi nating behavior, I believe that we already discussed what is behavior means. So, pag sinabi kasi nating behavior, in short, it refers to actions lang naman. So, these are the things that we do. Okay? So, when we say action, these are the things that we do, both overt and covert. Ano na ulit? Pag sinabi nating overt, pag overt, it is actions which is observable. Okay? So, pag sinabi naman nating covert, it is an action that are not readily observable by the naked eye. Okay? So, overt, observable. Pag covert, not observable. Okay, so these are the two types of actions or behavior, I mean. So, on a daily basis, we act because of a motivation. Syempre, hindi naman tayo gagalaw kung wala tayong motivation. And sometimes, that motivation drives us to do something. And some psychologists believe that we behave as a response to stimuli. So, for example, meron tayong nakitang stimuli. Okay. And that stimuli motivate us to do some action. And yung ginawa natin, our actions is our response to that stimuli. And others also believe that we do things because we want to achieve pleasure or avoid pain. Okay, di ba? Siyempre, that is our behavior. Sometimes, we need to do or we need to do something or we need to act on someone because we need to achieve pleasure or we need to act on something or someone for us to be able to avoid the pain that causes or the pain causes that someone. Okay? And some think it is because we want to achieve a goal. 'Di ba? So, unang-una, motivation. Okay? So, our motivation drives us to do something and that action is a response to that stimuli. Or the other believes that um, uh, we need to do something because we need to achieve pleasure or we need to avoid pain. Okay? And think some people think that uh, we need to do something because we need to achieve a goal, which is true, 'di ba? So, kung ano yung gusto natin, okay? Ano yung goals natin, ano yung objective natin, we need to work on it, 'di ba? For us to fulfill our aspiration as a human in search for meaning. Okay. So, what is interesting about behavior is it is readily measurable as opposed to the feelings and thoughts. So, pag sinabi nating observable or measurable, we can look on the frequency. Okay? Pag sinabi nating frequency, how many times is an action done in a span of time? So, ilang beses mong ginawa yung action, how many times you have done that action in a matter of, in a span of 1 hour, on a span of 3 days, in a span of uh, 1 week. Okay, so yun. And we can also check on the duration. So, pag sinabi nating duration, how long does an action take place? Okay, duration, gaano katagal. Kung kanina, gaano kadalas, the frequency, when we say frequency, gaano kadalas ang minsan, ngayon naman, gaano katagal ang minsan, which is duration. We can also check the behavior based on the duration. And we can also check behavior based on the intensity. So, pag sinabi nating intensity, it is the magnitude by which it is done. Okay? Is it forceful? Is it weak? Yan. Gaano kalakas impact? Gaano ka weak? Yan. The forceful or the magnitude. Intensity means magnitude. The forceful, is it forceful? Gaano kalakas yung kanyang impact? Is it weak? Okay. And then, we can also check our behavior to our diversity. Okay, pag sinabi nating diversity, these are the varieties of a similar behavior done in a various contexts, or what are the different behaviors we are capable of depending on our physical characteristics. Okay, ano ba itong tinatawag nating sexual behavior? Pag sinabi nating sexual behavior, it refers to a broad spectrum of behavior in which humans display their sexuality. Okay, pag sinabi nating sexual behavior, these are behaviors or actions that humans agree to interpret as an expression of their sexual motivations or intentions. Okay? So, this behavior, yun nga, express both biological elements and cultural influences. So, sabi ko nga kanina, sexual behaviors are actions that humans agree to interpret as an expression of their sexual motivations or yung kanilang sexual intentions. Okay? For instance, while hugging and kissing maybe it is considered sexual in nature. And this is not always the case, but the context of the behavior matters. Okay, yeah. And also, sexual behaviors are generally erotic behavior. Pag sinabi nating erotic behavior, they involve any of the primary or secondary erotic zones. Kung tatandaan natin kanina, what are the primary at saka secondary erotic zones, 'di ba? So, yun. We mentioned earlier that body parts such as face, neck, genitalias, chest, and among others are erogenous zone. Okay. And sexual behavior ranges from the solitary such as masturbation, autoerotic stimulation, to partnered sex, intercourse, oral sex, non-penetrative sex, etc. that is engaged in periodically. So, ibig sabihin, pag sinabi nating masturbation, ito yung stimulation of one's own genitals can be considered. Okay? Pag sinabi naman nating, and since masturbation is stimulation of one's own genitals, it is self-directed or tinatawag nating autoerotic stimulation. Okay, self-directed siya. Masturbation is a self-directed or autoerotic stimulation. Pag sinabi naman nating homoerotic stimulation or behavior, these are sexual behaviors oriented to same sex or homoerotic. At pag sinabi naman nating hetero heteroerotic behaviors, ito yung mga refers to sexual behaviors oriented to the other sex. Okay? Yeah. And also, sexual behavior can also involve the behavior that aimed at arousing desire in potential partners. For example, yung courtship, displays, or rituals, or behavior aimed at enhancing sexual experiences. Okay. And some, okay, ayan, ito yung tinatawag ko, sexual behavior or generally erotic behavior. Okay, and sexual behavior can be typed according to the aim of behavior. Okay, so sexual erotic. Okay, pag sinabi nating erotic behavior, it is the involvement of primary and secondary erotic zones. And sexual behaviors can be typed according to the aim of the behavior. Okay, first, examples of aim of sexual behavior ay ito. Okay, pag sinabi nating masturbation, ayan, it is the stimulation of one's own genitals and can be considered as autoerotic or yung self-directed, yung tinatawag. Okay. Homoerotic, ayan, sexual behaviors oriented to the same sex. Okay, kung makikita ninyo dito sa picture, sabi niya gender has nothing to do with love. Ayan, homoerotic, same sex, sexual behaviors oriented to same sex. Okay, heteroerotic naman ang tawag kapag it refers to the sexual behaviors oriented to the other sex. Kung mapapansin niyo dito sa picture or dito sa GIF natin, two personalities with two different sexualities. Okay, yan. Yan. And also, other aims of kung kanina, sexual behavior aims for autoerotic or para sa tinatawag nating self-directed. Okay? Isa sa mga aims din ng sexual behavior is for reproductive purposes. So, pag sinabi nating reproductive purposes, copulation is one of the example of reproductive purposes. So, pag sinabi nating copulation, this is the insertion of the penis to the vagina. Okay? So, it is necessary to insert the penis on the vagina. So, sa copulation, there are two common position when it comes to copulation. We have here the ventral copulation wherein the male and female species are facing each other. Yan. So, just like that. Okay, and the other position that we have is yung ventral dorsal copulation, wherein the abdomen of the male species is facing the dorsum, pag sinabi nating dorsum, the back of the female species. And just like this. Okay, yan. However, okay, sexual behaviors do not only refer doon sa tinatawag na copulation or doon sa insertion of penis to the vaginal orifice. They can also include an array of non-copulatory sexual behaviors. So, pag sinabi nating non-copulatory sexual behavior, example of this is yung hugging, kissing, and cursing. And there are also sexual behaviors involve oral stimulation of genitals such as yung tinatawag nating fellatio. Pag sinabi nating fellatio, this is the oral stimulation of the penis. Or in short, in other term, blowjob. Ano pa ba? uh, yun lang naman ang alam kong term ng blowjob. So, oral fellatio ang tawag dyan. The right term for blowjob, or the scientific term, of blowjob is fellatio, or the oral stimulation of the penis. And then, pangalawa is yung tinatawag nating cunnilingus. Again, cunnilingus. So, this time naman sa cunnilingus, it is the oral stimulation of vagina. Ayan. So, blowjob pa rin naman, cunnilingus. Ito ay exclusively sa babae. Okay. Exclusively sa babae. Yeah. The eating of vagina. Yan. Yun. Ayan. And, next one is the anal sex. So, pag sinabi natin anal sex, it is the sexual behavior involving stimulation or penetration of the anal orifice. Okay. So, based of those aims, different aims of sexual behavior, we all know that there are also sexual response. So, for heterosexual couples, one of the ultimate goals of the sexual act or that sexual behavior is reproduction. And this is made possible through the fertilization of the ovum by a sperm, which necessitates ejaculation. So, pag sinabi nating ejaculation, it is the release of the sperm from the human male into the internal reproductive of the human female. Okay, so Before these ultimate processes, both the human male and female undergoes a sequence of bodily changes which prepare them for the sexual climax na tinatawag. Okay? Or dun sa rurok ng sukdulan na tinatawag natin. And this sequence of changes is referred to the sexual response cycle. Ang nakaimbento or nakaimbento nitong sexual response cycle na ito ay si Master and Johnson's model, or si William Masters and Virginia Johnson used the term sexual response to describe the changes that occurs in the body as men and women became sexually aroused. Okay, so sila ay mag-asawa or dalawang psychiatrist na mag-asawa silang dalawa, and they study the sexual response cycle. So according to Masters and Johnson's, okay, they propose that there are following four phases. They propose that there are uh, four phases of cycle in the sexual response. So, ito, we have here the arousal, the excitement, the plateau, the arousal, the orgasm, and the resolution. Okay. So, pag sinabi nating excitement, this is the beginning of sexual arousal. Okay? So, sa excitement phase, ito yung first phase ng sexual response cycle. So, for the human male, the goal of this phase is yung erection or yung tumescence na tinatawag natin. So, pag sinabi na natin erection or tumescence, ito yung elongation and stiffening of the penis. Okay, for example, nag-stretch na si penis, tapos nagiging stiff na siya, tumitigas na siya, tumatayo na si Junjun. Ganun. So, that it can be, bakit ba siya tatayo? Para mas efficiently at mas madali siyang i-insert doon sa ating vagina. Okay? So, the excitement phase can last from 1 minute to several hours. Okay, so anong nangyayari aside doon sa elongation and stiffening of the penis? Okay, dito sa phase na ito, the testes and the scrotum start to elevate and some parts of the skin. For example, sa babae naman, yung kanilang breast at saka chest is nag-red na. So, ang tawag doon is sex flush. Yung tinatawag. Yung nagbo-blush yung cheeks, yung neck, at saka yung breast. Okay. At sa mga kababaihan naman, okay, if sa human male, yung goal dito is erection, in human female naman, the goal of this phase is lubrication. Okay, so, yung dapat malubricate or magkaroon ng wetness na tinatawag. Okay, yeah. Yun yung mga goals dito sa excitement phase natin. Okay. And the next phase naman is the plateau phase. So, pag sinabi nating plateau phase, in men, the penis become more erect, the circumference of its head increases and releases few drops of fluid. So, dito, mas tumitigas yung penis at nag-enlarge yung circumference, nag-increase yung circumference o yung laki, yung taba, okay? And nag-release na siya ng few drops of liquid. Okay, so this phase, yan. In women naman, the outer part of the vagina swells with increased amount of blood to that area while the clitoris retracts under the clitoral hood, okay, not remains highly sensitive. Okay, so ito. Kung ito yung original form, okay, pagdating sa excitement phase, medyo lumalabas si clitoris. At pagdating naman sa plateau phase, lubog siya. Ayan. Ayan. So, yeah. And the outer lip of the vagina becomes redder in color. So, dito, sa phase na ito, It is the characterized by sustained peak in stimulation. Yan. Pagdating naman sa orgasmic phase, ito yung orgasm na tinatawag. This is the climax of the sexual response. Okay, wherein it is the stage of release wherein the human male achieves ejaculation and the human female is ready to receive the sperm for possible fertilization. Ayan. So, yeah. And sa orgasmic phase, um, magkaiba yung men's orgasm sa women's orgasm. Actually, sa men's usually achieve one intense orgasm. So, isang beses lang silang magkakaroon ng orgasm. Pero, it is intense. So, pag sinabi nating intense, malala. Okay? So, maminsan na lang. Okay? Na magkaroon ng orgasm. Okay? Yeah. Minsan, isang beses lang silang magkakaroon. While sa female, it involves contraction of the pelvic muscles that surround the vaginal walls and can happen multiple times. So, di ba? Merong mga males na nagkakaroon ng single orgasm. Meron ding ibang males na females na nagkakaroon ng multiple orgasm. Meron ding mga ibang male, pag sinabi nating multiple orgasm, um, uh, nag-orgasm na siya, tapos na-relax, tapos nag-orgasm ulit, tapos na-relax, nag-orgasm ulit. Ayan. Okay. Meron ding mga males, if males experiencing, if other females experiencing multiple orgasm, other females experience also non-orgasm. Okay, hindi may mga ibang babae din na hindi totally nakaka-experience ng orgasm. Specifically kapag sila ay naka-experience ng trauma. Yung frigidity na tinatawag, frigid, walang pakiramdam. Okay, yan. So, sa women's orgasm, kino-compare nila sa kumukulong tubig. Okay. Let you try this at home. For example, magpakulo ka ng tubig. Once na kumulo yung tubig, anong nangyayari? Bumubula-bula yung tubig. Tapos, pahinaan mo. Pag pinahinaan mo, magiging calm yung water doon sa pot. Pero kapag pinalakasan mo ulit yung apoy, agburok-burok manan. So, that's it. Yan sa example ng hot pot experiment when it comes to multiple orgasm or doon sa women's orgasm. Okay. After ng orgasmic phase, nagkakaroon tayo ng resolution phase. So, pag sinabi nating resolution phase, the body returns to its normal state after orgasm. In men, the erection is lost, the testes decrease in size, and the skin of the scrotum thins again. So, meaning, dito sa resolution phase, the male penis return to its normal unerected phase. Okay? And doon sa human female naman, the outer and the inner reproductive organs relaxes. Ayan. So, mabalik na sa normal. So, that is the last phase when it comes to according to sexual response cycle by Masters and Johnsons. Okay. So, eto. Ayan. This is the excitement phase, the plateau, okay? Orgasm, yung rurok ng takumpay, and the resolution phase. Okay. And this is also an example of sexual response by both male and females. So, sa mga male, itong nakakulay blue. So, dito nyo na mapapansin na totoo nga yung sinabi niya na only one intense orgasm lang yung marireach ng males. While sa females, eto nga, they can have it multiple orgasm, okay, or na-excite sila, nakakarating sila sa plateau phase, orgasm sila, and some other will experience multiple orgasm and then down to resolution or to the relaxation stage. While other female, hanggang sa plateau phase lang sila, hindi nila nare-reach yung tunay na tagumpay. Ayan, and then bababa na lang sila doon sa resolution stage. Ayan, so yeah. And there are also other sexual response cycles according to Kaplan's model. So unlike kay Masters and Johnson's model, okay, Kaplan's model in 1979 sees the sexual response cycles has having as having relative independent stages. So sa Kaplan's kung kanina kay yung sexual response cycle ni Masters at saka ni Johnson's meron tayong apat na stages. Dito kay Kaplan's, we only have three phases in this model. So we have the desire, the arousal or the excitement, or the orgasm. So, pag sinabi nating desire, this is the psychological component of sexual response, wherein it involves sexual thoughts and feelings which are necessary for satisfying sexual experience. Okay? Yan. Pag sa arousal naman or dun sa excitement phase na tinatawag, this is the phase wherein both excitement and the plateau. Okay, as defined by Masters and Johnson. So, dito nangyayari yung both excitement and plateau. Okay, na kung saan the, the sexual response or nakakaroon ng changes sa body during the sexual stimulation. Okay, and pagdating naman, the last stage according to Kaplan's model is the orgasm, wherein orgasm in Kaplan's model is generally similar with the Masters and Johnson's model, except doon sa phase na they include the resolution phase. Dito sa Kaplan's kasi, uh, according to this study or to this model, the orgasm is the completion of the sexual response. Hindi na niya isinali yung resolution. Okay. Some people experience, okay, so kung yung ibang tao ay nakaka-experience ng matagumpay na orgasm, okay, some people experience actually difficulty or problems on some of the sexual phases. And these are the following common sexual dysfunction. Okay. So, number one is yung sexual desire disorder. So, pag sinabi natin sexual desire disorder, this is when an individual has low levels of desire or has an aversion to sexual activity. So, mababa yung kanyang sexual desire. Okay. And then, pangalawa, an example of sexual response dysfunction is yung sexual arousal disorder. Ito naman ay when an individual has a problem in achieving necessary psychological state for copulation. For example, is kapag meron kang erectile dysfunction sa mga kalalakihan. Kahit anong gawin mo, ayaw tumayo. Ganun. Kahit anong gawin ni partner, ayaw pa rin tumayo. And that is sexual arousal disorder. Okay. And then next is the orgasmic disorder. So pag sinabi nating orgasmic disorder naman, meron itong kinalaman sa achieving orgasm. So for example, hindi talaga hindi na-reach yung tunay na orgasm due to premature ejaculation among males. Okay? And it can be experienced by both females and male. Yeah, so, pag madaling malabasan si partner, syempre hindi makakarating or hindi mare-reach ni female partner yung kanyang orgasm. And that is orgasmic disorder. Okay, and next is sexual pain disorder. Ito naman yung nakakaranas ng matinding sakit during sexual intercourse. Okay, for example, masakit, nakakaramdam siya ng pain kapag nagkakaroon siya ng erection, painful erection, okay, dyspareunia na tinatawag, or vaginal spasm or vaginismus. Okay, ayan. So, the origins of the sexual dysfunction disorder is magkakaiba. Okay, it can be organic. So, pag sinabi nating organic, it is existing problem with the anatomy and physiology of the reproductive organ of the individual. At psychosomatic naman kapag it is a psychological concern. Nagmanifest yung isang psychological concern. Yun nga, na trauma, ganon. O kaya, nagkaroon siya ng abuse, sexual abuse in her early life, his or her early stages, then nakakaroon ng psychosomatic problem. Okay? And, ayan. Next is yung tinatawag nating paraphilia. So, while there are typical sexual behaviors among women, ay among humans, there are also those behaviors that are relatively atypical. So, pag sinabi nating atypical, they are atypical due to any of the following reasons. Unang-una, they are not prevalent. Pangalawa, they are dangerous to self and to others. At pangatlo, they are bizarre and are not socially acceptable. At ang pang-apat, they are distressing either to the doer or to the other people involved in act. So pag sinabi kasi nating paraphilias, these are sexual feelings or behavior that may involve sexual partners who are not human without permission or that involve suffering or torture by one or both partners. Okay. So, ang tawag sa mga taong nagkakaroon ng ganitong klase ng sexual feelings or sexual behavior ay tinatawag sila merong paraphilic disorder. So, pag sinabi nating paraphilic disorder, this is when the urge or act lasts for at least 6 months and is a manifestation of clinically significant distress. Okay, and here are some common paraphilic disorders. Ayan. Ayan, so, ano kaya yung tawag dyan? Okay? Exhibitionism. Ito yung madalas na lumalabas online, nagva-viral, yung mga lalaking nagjajakol sa jeep, nagpapakita ng penis sa jeep. Ayan, 'di ba? Exhibitionism yung tawag doon. Okay, so ito, okay, pag sinabi nating exhibitionism, they pleasure. Okay, they get pleasure from exposing their genitals to non-consenting people. Yung bigla-bigla na lang nilang nilalabas si Junjun. O kaya bigla-bigla na lang silang nagmamasturbate in public areas. Or specifically sa mga jeep. Ganon, di ba? Madalas nagkakaroon ng mga ganong balita. Okay? Exhibitionism ang tawag doon. Pangalawa na paraphilic disorder na common is yung fetishism. Pag sinabi natin fetishism, it is arousal from non-living object. For example, shoes, socks, okay? Nakakita lang ng mannequin na hubad, walang damit, ayan. Nakakaroon na siya ng sexual pleasure. O kaya meron siyang nakitang nakasabit na bra at panty, o sinungkit niya, tapos amoy niya, heaven na. Ayan, fetishism fetishism ang tawag diyan. Hindi siya fetishism, fetishism. Ayan. So, nagkakaroon siya ng arousal or na-arouse siya, na-excite siya kapag nakakakita siya ng mga non-living objects. Specifically kapag image ng isang katawan ng isang babae, kahit mannequin pa dyan, di ba? O kaya yung mga sex dolls, fetishism ang tawag doon. Next na paraphilic disorders na we have is yung tinatawag nating frotteurism. So, pag sinabi naman nating frotteurism, ito yung touching or rubbing one's body or genitals to non-consenting people. Okay? So, for example, yung mga yung bigla-bigla na lang nanghahawak ng puwet, okay, non-consent. Okay, o kaya, for example, naglalakad ka diyan tapos may biglang humawak, tumampal sa puwet mo o kaya nakasalubong mo siya bigla niyang grab yung boobs mo. Okay, that is frotteurism. Okay, meron kaming ano dati, kasama. Meron akong nakasama sa trabaho na gano'n, bigla nanghahawak na lang ng puwet tapos sasabihin, "Ang laki pala niyan." Tapos hawakan niya yung dibdib, ganyan na pala kalambot, gano'n. Ayan, so, 'yan, frotteurism ang tawag doon. O kaya kapag ikaw ay nakasakay, hindi naman maiiwasan na siyempre magkadunggulan ka lalong-lalo na kapag standing, nakasakay ka sa mga public transport. Hindi naman maiiwasan yung magkakadunggulan. Meron kasing mga ibang tao na sadyang kinikis-kiss yung penis o kaya for example is, kikis-kisin nila yung kamay nila doon sa puwet mo, gano'n. Frotteurism ang tawag doon, ano? Yan. Ang next na paraphilic disorder, ayan, ito yung mga pedophilia. Okay, ito yung mga na-arouse sa mga bata. Ayan. Papasok dyan ng child abuse at child trafficking. Okay, pedophilia. Ayan, they are being aroused sa mga bata. Ayan, mahilig pumatol sa mga bata. Okay. And, may tanong, may nagtanong sa akin na, ka-work ko, "Ma'am, is philia at saka groomer or grooming is magkaiba?" Okay. Pedophilia kasi, they are sexually aroused sa mga bata. 'Pag groomer kasi, they are, uh, they are attracted, okay, sa isang tao lalong-lalo na sa minor, lalong-lalo na kapag alam nila na mayroong weakness yung bata. For example, yung bata is nakaka-encounter ng anxiety, distress, o kaya, depression, and then, magiging comfort zone sila hanggang sa ma-in love sa kanya yung bata, that is grooming. At grooming ang tawag doon. At yung lalaki na yon ay groomer. Okay, grooming. Yan. So, i-ano nyo na lang, if hindi malinaw yung explanation ko, i-ano nyo na lang, i-internet nyo na lang. Anyway, we can get information at one click already. Grooming or groomer. Ayan. And we have here, sexual masochism. So, pag sinabi natin sexual masochism, it is the arousal from actual suffering or humiliation. Ayan. So, tignan nyo tong babaeng ito. Ano, napakasayot. Garampi na. Yung pinapalo ka na't lahat-lahat, tinali ka na at kung ano-anong bagay na yung tinutusok sa'yo, pero naa-arouse ka pa rin. Ayan, masochist ang tawag diyan, masokista. Okay, sinasaktan ka na, sayang-saya ka pa. Ayan, so masochist, sexual masochism. Sila yung madalas na nagiging, yung ano, yung sa BDSM. For example, sino nakapanood sa inyo ng, um, 50 Shades of Grey na series, okay. Isa sa mga example ng sexual masochist ay si Anastasia Grey. Ayan, so masochista siya. Baku-bakunutan dahil sa ti kulayot kas kada nyarita nga ikot kay ket nalatta. Sexual masochism, na-arouse pa rin siya. That is sexual masochism. Okay? And syempre kung may sexual masochism, meron din namang sexual sadism. So pag sinabi natin sexual sadism, this is arousal from actually inflicting pain to others. And one example of sexual sadist ay si Christian Grey. Sila yung nag-i-inflict, sila yung nananakit. At kung nakikita nilang nahihirapan at nasasaktan yung partner nila, kaya't tapay. Yan. Na-arouse sila. Yan. It is satisfaction for them. Yan. Sexual sadism. And we also called it BDSM or yung BD. Pag sinabi nating BD, bondage and discipline, dominant and submission, and sadism and masochism. So, lahat ng yan ay magkakasama. Kaya nga ito, B at saka D, magkasama siya sa bilog na green at ang tawag dyan ay bondage and discipline. Sa D at saka si S, magkasama siya sa bilog na blue at ang tawag sa kanila ay domination and submission. So, lahat yan magka-partner. And then, S at saka M, magkasama na sa pink na bilog, sadism and masochism. It is actually a relationship of two individual. So, BDSM kasi is a term used to describe sex that involves dominance, submission, and control. So, ibig sabihin, merong isa sa kanila ang dominant at merong isa sa kanila ang submissive. At yung dominant, syempre, siya yung nagko-control ng sitwasyon. Okay? The practice typically involves one partner taking on a more dominant role during sex while other is more submissive. Ayan. Okay? So, according to the, if I'm not mistaken, 2016 study ba yun? Nearly 47% of women and 60% of men have fantasized about dominating someone in sexual context. Ayan, so, nagfa-fantasize sila, no? 47 of women and 60% of men. Nakakahiya naman sa 47 no, ng mga kababaihan ng mga ito, ano? Walang kaamor-abog sa sarili, ano? Walang respeto sa sarili. They are fantasizing. 47 of the total population of women are fantasizing to be in this situation. Yeah? Dominating. Papayag mo mag-dominate by someone during sexual intercourse. Okay, diba? And some study found that BDSM sex was slightly more prevalent in couples on the LGBTQ spectrum. So, sila yung madalas na nakakaranas ng ganito. Okay? So, And other researchers determined that BDSM sex was practiced across different ages, genders, ethnic backgrounds. Ayan. So, pero, we, meron din silang tinatawag na light BDSM. So, pag sinabi nating light BDSM, ito yung mga practices na good starting point for beginners. Di ba? Merong pa ganun. Ayan. So, merong mga starting point para sa mga beginners na gustong maranasan ang BDSM, bondage and discipline, domination and submission, sadism and masochism. Paano yun, ma? Gusto ko try. Hindi, joke lang, Paano yun? Ah, nag-start sila by slightly pulling hair. Ayan, puot-puot na ka. Handcuffs, pusasan ka niya, o kaya tinatali ka niya sa kama gamit ang scarf or yung mga necktie. Yan. O kaya blindfolds ka niya. Okay? O kaya pinapalo ka niya. Light spanking. Ayan. Or role playing. Okay, yung mga role playing, for example, student teacher, kaya basta merong mga role playing na tinatawag. Nagkakaroon sila ng ibang character. Okay? And sa BDSM, meron din silang tinatawag na dominant, yung nga, sabi ko nga, dominant at saka submissive. Okay, so pag sinabi in a relationship with two partners, one will typically play the dominant role while the other will play the submissive role. So the dominant and submissive dynamic is often referred to as the top-bottom dynamic. Okay, while yung dominant partner is top, and typically the one taking control in spanking, in bonding, in whipping, binaot-baot na kalitan, siya yung tagapalo, siya yung taga-spank, siya yung tagatali sa'yo. Okay? While yung sa submissive, siya yung tinatali, siya yung nasa bottom. Okay? Hindi niya pwedeng i-demand kung ano yung gagawin sa kanya. Okay? And sa BDSM, meron din yung tinatawag na switch. Okay? Ano yung switch? A switch is a person who shifts between the dominant and submissive roles, depending doon sa partner and the context. Sa BDSM, there are different categories using the abbreviation na BDSM. Okay? Di ba nga, dito sa picture, meron tayong different category. Okay? So, dito, sa bondage, okay, ito yung involvement ng limiting partners freedom. For example, ng limiting of partners freedoms movement, ito yung example, tinatali ka, ropes, handcuffs, or other restraints. Ayan, blindfold ka, and so on and so forth. Pagdating sa discipline, it is through agreed upon rules and punishment. Eh, 'di ba kung ire-recall ninyo yung story ng 50 Shades of Grey, meron silang um, rules. Okay? Hindi ka pwedeng makipagtsakan sa ibang lalaki. No? Tapos nakita ka niya nakasama ka sa ibang people, then doon mangyayari ulit yung sexual intercourse. That is a discipline. Merong agreed upon na rules. And including punishments. Pag sinabi naman nating dominance or domination, ito yung showing of authority over the physical partner, either during sex or outside of the bedroom. At yung submission na tinatawag natin, siya yung taga-obey, siya yung dominant partner, na kung saan siya yung tagasalo noong dominant partner's actions and wishes. Ayan. And then, sadism and masochism or sadomasochism na tinatawag natin. Ito naman yung pleasure that a partner may feel from either inflicting pain or sadism or receiving pain or masochism. Okay. Dito, sa sadism and masochism, it's either physical or emotional. Okay? And, yan. Yun yan. It's either physical or emotional. So, these are the broader categories. So, there is no one way to practice BDSM, and different types can include power play, role playing, pain play, bondage, wax play, edging, sensory deprivation, or humiliation. Ayan. So, BDSM. Next na paraphilic disorder that we have is yung transvestic fetishism. Pag sinabi natin transvestic fetishism, it is actually more on for heterosexual males only. So, nararanasan na ito for heterosexual males only, wherein nagkakaroon sila ng arousal from wearing clothing by opposite sex during sexual activities. Yung nagdadamit sila ng, for example, pang babae, pang lalaki, yan, I mean, pang babae. Yan. So, meron silang clothing. Nagkakaroon sila ng arousal from the wearing of clothing. And, and ang isa sa pinaka common na paraphilic disorder, ito yung voyeurism na tinatawag. Kapag sinabi nating voyeurism, it is the observing of other people engaging in sexual interactivities. Okay, so, sila yung agsisirik, agita, kayo, wala kayo, tabi-tabi po. Sila yung mamboboso. Ayan. ah, Nanonood habang mayroong gumagawa ng sexual activity. Ayan, live. Inabutan na di dingding na tapos agsilip na dyan. Ayan. So, that is voyeurism. Magsisirip. Matagita si Kurt nga agsisirip. Tagita matmatayo. Tudukot. Ayan. So, yan. And then next is stereotype, prejudices, and discrimination. Pag sinabi natin yung stereotype, these are an overgeneralized belief about a particular group. Okay? So, for example, we are stereotyping Indians. Okay, Indians ay dugyot, ay anglit, nagkangot, kasjay. Stereotyping dayjay, we are explicit. Okay, stereotypes can be categorized as explicit, meaning the person is aware that they have these thoughts towards the group of people and they can say it out loud. No? Magsasabi natin, Indian ay anglit. Arabo ay anglit. Muslim ay terorista. Di ba? Pag sinasabi natin yon, we are stereotyping explicitly. And kapag tayo ay nag-stereotype na nasa subconscious lang natin, we are not voicing it out loud or we are not saying it out loud, that is implicit stereotyping. Nasa sa atin lang. Okay, so kung kayo, bagbagaan kayo na, pag kayo ay mabibigyan pag kayo ay mag-stereotype, implicitly lang. Okay? Huwag niyong i-voice out, tane, lipakan kayo. Okay? Eh. And isa sa other pa, sa pag sinabi nating Harvard University, nagkatapos siya na sa Harvard, ay, matalino yan, genius yan, kasjay niya. Pero kapag natapos ka lang sa putyo-putyong school, ay, hindi matalino, ay, wala siyang pera, ay, mahirap na siya. That is simply stereotyping. Or, for example, sa mga farmers at saka sa mga blue collar workers. Pag farmers, sadot gamin idi dayta nga nagadal, kasjay, sadot kasi tamad kasi kaya hindi nakapag-aral kaya ngayon magsasaka na lang. Kasjay yung stereotyping. Pag blue collar job, ay ang galing-galing niyo naman. For valedictorian siguro siya noon. That is stereotyping. Yeah. Okay. Next is prejudice. Pag sinabi naman nating prejudice, it is an unjustified or incorrect attitude. Usually, negative attitude siya towards an individual based solely on the individual's membership of a social group. And that is according to MacLeod 2008. Okay, so prejudice represents our emotional response upon learning of person's membership to specific group. For example, for example, yung age, yung skin color, yung race, disability, generation, nationality, religion, sex, sexual expression, gender expression, and so on. Nakakaroon tayo ng negative attitude due to that is characteristics. Okay? Nagiging racist tayo, prejudiced. Okay? For example is yung sexist person. Okay? Wherein someone who has a negative attitude towards other sex and sees them as a lesser sex. Okay, diba? Sexist. We are better. Men are better than women. Kasjay. That is sexism. Prejudice. Okay? Nakikita mo sa sarili mo na you are the dominant. Kasjay. You are the You are the most powerful. Okay? Or, yeah, merong majority rules kasi. Or kaya kapag, I am, or the whites and the black, kasi prejudice yun eh. 'Di ba? Black ka, dyan ka lang. Hindi ka pwedeng makihulubilo sa aming white Americans. Yun. Hmm. Black ka, meron kang dugong African, you are not pure American, so go away, kasjay. Yan, that is prejudice. And discrimination naman yung tawag sa actions or behaviors towards an individual or a group of people. For example, ikaw ay babae, si Maria nakapagtapos siya as a civil engineer and board passer pa siya, registered civil engineer. Okay. Then, alam naman natin na kapag engineer, may connotation na this is a work for men. Okay, and typically, this is a male-dominated type of occupation or course na nag-apply ngayon si Maria, ang nakasabayan niya ay mga lalaki. Siya lang yung iisang babae doon. And nakaranas siya ng pangmamata sa mga kalalakihan doon. Hindi ka matatanggap kasi babae ka. You cannot do what we can do. Discrimination yun. Okay? Discriminatory behaviors take many form. Hindi lang sa kahit na simpleng minamata-mata ka, tinitignan ka pa ba papataas, they are merely discriminating you. Okay, and these are examples of discrimination. Okay, according to the United Nations. Okay, number one na example of discrimination is yung tinatawag nating genocide. Ito yung example na ginawa ni, sino na yun? Kalimutan ko naman na. Ni Adolf Hitler sa mga Jewish. Sa mga Jew people. Genocide. Doon sa, Nazi war. Ayan. So, this is the action of recognizing someone is different so much they are treated inhumanly and degraded. 'Di ba? Yung inibon sila sa isang, anong tawag na doon? I forgot the term. Sa isang room, tapos sinunog sila ng buhay. That is genocide. Kasi sabi niya, Jew people are just like dogs. They are not, hindi sila katulad ng mga Germans. Okay? Salot sila ng lahi. Sila ay isang salot na lahi. Okay? Kaya, pinatay sila, sinunog sila. Okay? And, aside from genocide is the apartheid. So, pag sinabi natin apartheid, yung merong separateness. Okay, it is a form of racial discrimination wherein one race is viewed as less than the other, resulting in the separation of black and whites. Okay. And apartheid is an example doon sa doon sa girian ng mga white American at saka black Americans. Okay? And the mass murders of the Jews. Actually, apartheid is also, aside from the genocide, apartheid is also one of the pinakamasaklap na experience ng mga Jew people in the history, wherein doon sa sinunog sila sa mga concentration camp. Yan, apartheid doon. Or nilagay sila sa concentration camps. Doon sila nanirahan hanggang sa i-genocide sila ni Adolf Hitler. Okay. And then gender discrimination. So pag sinabi nating gender discrimination, it is a common form of discrimination. So statistically, women are less than men. Okay? So mas marami ang babae. Mas marami ang babae kaysa lalaki. Okay? 'Di ba? 'Yon. Pero sa tingin ng mga kalalakihan, mas maliit tayong mga babae kaysa sa mga lalaki. We are lesser when it comes to financial, we have a lesser opportunity when it comes to education, and doon sa strength and power. Okay? That is gender discrimination. Yan. Yan. And, actually, some men can also experience discrimination, lalong-lalo na kapag sila yung naiiwan sa loob ng bahay. 'Di ba merong mga husbandry na tinatawag, husbandry, housewife, ah, basta yon yung husband na instead na sila yung magtrabaho, 'di ba nga sa lipunan natin, sa uri ng society na meron tayo dito sa Pilipinas, basically the males are the breadwinner of the family. Sila yung nagpo-provide na financially, 'di ba? Uh, sa bahay. Pero meron ng mga kalalakihan ngayon na sila yung naiiwan sa loob ng tahanan, nag-aalaga ng kanilang mga anak habang yung kanilang asawang babae sila yung nagtatrabaho. And some men can actually experience gender discrimination by doing that. Or kapag si lalaki naging teacher, sasabihin, ay bakla siya kasi naging teacher siya, 'di ba? Mm. So, yan, gender discrimination. And then, LGBT discrimination. So, pag sinabi nating LGBT discrimination, discrimination happens when LGBT people are treated as lesser than straight people. Okay, so, bakla ka, salot ka sa lipunan, tomboy ka, straight ka, straight. Okay, so discrimination usually happens early in their childhood as they bullied act when they act differently. Ang pag nakitang malambot na gumalaw si bakla, si akla, bakla, 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 kuna na dyan kay ayam na nga ba? Kay ayam na. Manaw ka dito, hanga ka salitahan ka lalaki. Yes, chay. Nakasa, ano? Dagitaman. Ayan, so, during adolescence naman, they got judged. And at the same time, they got bullied. And sometimes, ito yung pinakamasakit, physically, they get a physical assault. Okay? Ayan. Na kung saan, nagiging takot na silang i-explore yung kanilang sexuality, express yung kanilang identity, di ba? Kasi, nakakatakot ang lipunan ngayon. Pag nakita ka nilang iba yung galaw mo, they basically judge you. Tomboy ka. As dyan, apo. Ayan. So, this the end of our discussion. And I do hope so that you listen well. Okay? A lot of a lot of discussions is already pre-recorded and kindly visit this in our canvas. Thank you very much and have a nice day ahead. Bye bye.